Hello and welcome. My name is Carsten Lützen. I'm an Agile coach and a Scrum Master. So I've just made videos on how to structure the backlog, and now we will go into the sprint goal. And you don't need to run sprints to use sprint goals. You can also just call it iterations. But having some kind of time box and then setting a goal for that time box, that is what I love to do with teams quite a lot, because it keeps us focused. And I always say, don't obsess about the concrete sprint backlog items. I know that can be a bit controversial. I would much rather say, look at the sprint goal. Are we on track to achieving this? And if we achieve it, I'm all for it, even though that means that we don't finish the entire sprint backlog, because that probably just means we have saved some work that we didn't need doing to meet the sprint goal. And there are a lot of awesome questions you can ask to set a good sprint goal. I will link to some of the articles below. So one of them is, what will our stakeholders be able to do after this sprint? And ask yourself that. So what can the stakeholders, the users, do after this sprint? How will they notice that this sprint is finished and everything was put into production? You can use several techniques. One is the miracle questions. A miracle question from solution-focused coaching, which is that imagine that you go to bed tonight. During the night you're visited by your fairy godmother, and the fairy godmother bestows upon you this miracle that the sprint is done, it was a success. You and the rest of the team wake up tomorrow. You don't know that the sprint has already been done. So when you get into the office, what would the signs of this successful sprint be? How would you notice? How would the team notice? How would the stakeholders, the users notice? And that can help you, asking it in this way, to figure out what are the signs that the users would see, the signs that the stakeholders would see that this was a successful sprint. And then you can start to create actions that will move the needle in those specific areas, making sure that you actually have a successful sprint. The Liberators have also made 10 powerful questions for setting sprint goals. I will link to these, and they are awesome. They are really great. And as I already said, right, a sprint goal creates coherence. It helps for the team to move in a specific direction. And for instance, in the stand-up, if you feel people are talking about everything at once, then just ask them, what have we done to move us closer to the sprint goal? And then try to center it around the sprint goal, not necessarily the board, because we can have added a lot of stuff that maybe should not be on the board, maybe it should. But then just, what have we done to move us closer to the sprint goal, and why? And that can foster some really, really, really interesting conversations, to say the least. So I would always say, have a sprint goal, start with that, and then build the sprint backlog. And I know people do it differently, but I like that quite a lot. And lastly, as I said, sprint goals are awesome. I love it. So if you have good tips for sprint goal, please share. That would be quite awesome. And if you have comments to these videos, please send them in a message, or feedback or ideas, send them in a message or in a comment. That would again also be awesome. And please subscribe. But that's it. Have a super, super awesome day.